This is the first segment in our discussion of Chapter 14 from American Media History, the Internet Revolution and the Information Explosion. Your author starts with a discussion of the fact that human beings have always been interested in computation and solving problems. Computers, any sort of computing machine, has always been considered something for computing mathematical problems. All of that changed, though, between the 1960s and the 1980s, as we'll see, when the computer went from being computational to being a means of communication. And that's why we will be studying it. So the first section is called From Abacus to Computer. And for sure, the first computing device was an abacus from the 4th century. During the European Renaissance, advances in science and math were speeding along, and it became clear that there was a need for faster computation. The 19th century Industrial Revolution created machines and sort of a vision for how great machinery could be, and that paved the way for the 20th century technological revolution. But let's go back to the very first father of the modern computer. All the way to 1823, an Englishman named Charles Babbage. He developed what he called an analytical machine that had all of the parts, all of the components of a modern-day computer. And he saw that it could do lots more than just solve math problems. He envisioned computer games. He envisioned the computer playing chess. So once again, it had all of the important parts, but in 1823, there was not the technology or the know-how or the resources to produce it. So fast forward to the middle of the 20th century when two University of Iowa professors, John Atkinsoff and Clifford Berry, built the first electronic digital computer in 1941. Their invention caught the interest of the US military, of course, and like every other medium that we've talked about, its development was put on hold because of war. So the US military used the technology to crack enemy codes, to work on improving aim for guns, and to solve simulation problems. Perhaps the most interesting event with the development of computers during World War II was occurring in Britain, the British Code and Cipher School. These were the people, including a woman, who developed the first digital machine called Colossus. Its aim was to help crack Nazi codes, and it was so successful that it remained a secret long after the war. So the people who did it really didn't get much attention during their lifetime. And if you'd like to see an interesting adaptation of these events, see the movie The Imitation Game. At the very end of World War II, a Harvard mathematician, Howard Aiken, received funding first from Harvard University and then from IBM to build a computer to solve complex math problems. It was called the Harvard Mark I, and it too was used by the US Navy at the end of World War II. Eckert and Mauchly at University of Pennsylvania developed two systems. One was called ENIAC, and that was used for gunnery and ballistics calculations. But they also developed then the first commercial and fastest computer yet called the UNIVAC. It was first used for non-military purposes, and it used census data in 1951 to correctly predict Eisenhower's election in 1952 with data from only 1% of the voters. So in a sense, it was viewed as somewhat miraculous. In this next section, we're going to start looking at the move from computers as being enormous machines to the desktops that we use today.